Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to KRSTV. And this is a Black Diamond video, and I want to talk about the legacy and the sheer authenticity of what we know of our dearly departed brother, DMX. Born Earl Simmons, DMX was truly a pioneer. He is like the biggest selling rap artist of all time. He's had 6 platinum albums. Well, actually 5, I'm sorry. He's been in blockbuster movies. You know, he's done reality television. And every time we saw DMX, we saw him showing his true authentic self. And it's just so sad that we have lost this great person, because we've seen him with his struggles, you know, but then we also saw his strong faith, his strong belief in the Most High, and how he was trying to live a better life. But then the fact that he was the type of person that would give you the shirt off his back. He was the type of person that would sit and eat with homeless people, even when he had like 30 million in the bank. That says a lot about a man's character, that he wasn't all about the glitz and the glam. You know, he never forgot who he was. He never forgot where he came from. And he never forgot to give charity and to show humility to those who were struggling. I mean, regardless of what they may try to say about DMX, DMX was a soldier. DMX was a revolutionary. DMX is a true inspiration to how all of us black men should be. Not afraid to be who we are. Not afraid to live our truth. Admit our good, our bad, and our indifferences. You know, was he a perfect person? Absolutely not. But then again, who is? And when I think of DMX, I remember, you know, my brother, when he had bought the Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood album, and he played that album out, child. Like, he played it out when we were kids. And I remember the thing that got my attention from that album was the prayer that he did at the end. And every single album, he had a prayer. So he never forgot the Most High. He never forgot the fact that he was gifted. And a lot of times he would question, like, why did you give me this? Why did you give me this gift? Why did you put me on this pedestal? Because he was a man that had very deep demons, even stemming from his childhood, you know, growing up in an abusive household, you know, being left, you know, in like a juvenile facility, you know, and not really having the moral support that he needed. But he did get that from his grandmother, and that's something that I identify with him, because I was very close to my grandmother as well. And it's just something about a grandmother's love that just runs deep. And when you lose that, you're never the same person. And he says, no matter how tough we are, we all want to be someone's baby. And I was her baby. And I can say the same for my grandmother too. So I deeply connected with him on that. And also the fact that him becoming a drug addict was not a choice. It was something that he was tricked into at the age of 14, where this older gentleman who was in his 30s, who he looked to as a mentor, who got him into, you know, being a rapper and writing lyrics, decided to give him a blunt that was laced with crack. And I know this, and unfortunately, I've known some people where this has happened to them, where they smoked some weed that was either laced with crack or boat. I actually had a cousin that this happened to, and he was never the same. And it was the same with DMX. I mean, you literally had people out here who be pulling those kind of stunts. And that man who did that was evil as fuck. Because you did that shit to a child. He was 14 and he looked up to you, and you took advantage of him by getting him hooked on drugs, which made him an addict throughout his life. And I'm not going to sit up here and denounce him for being an addict, because some of the greats were addicts, like Whitney Houston, Billie Holiday, Jim Morrison. I mean, you can just go down the list. John Belushi. Some of the most innovative talents battled drug addictions because they had demons. They had trauma. And DMX had a lot of trauma. And due to the fact that he grew up in a system where he really didn't get the good nurturing and guidance that he needed early on, that trauma just magnified over time. And even with all of that, the fact that that man was able to do what he did was remarkable. The fact that he was able to inspire so many young people. The fact that he inspired so many rap artists who are out doing their thing today. That's something to celebrate. That's something to admire. Regardless of how he lived his life, he gave his best to his fans, to his family and friends. He tried his hardest to be the best that he can be. I mean, even when that whole situation went down when he was on the Iyanla Vanzant, it didn't make me love him any less. And it made me understand that addiction is real. And personally, I thought that whole situation should not have been on camera, because it magnified and it didn't get the results that it needed to happen as far as him reconnecting with his son. I thought that should have been done in a private manner, because it really did showcase him in a bad light, and I was really pissed about that, because he didn't deserve that. And this is not me to diss Iyanla, but that was not the right situation for him. And the fact that even with all of his struggles and with all of the things that he was dealing with, the fact that that man was still making music and was even inspiring other acts like Pop Smoke. He even did a song with Pop Smoke before he was killed. I mean, that just goes to show you, man, that he's a legend. And we truly lost a legend. I mean, ever since I heard on Friday that he passed away, this past Friday, my whole world has not been the same, because I just been thinking about him. Thinking about how much he was a part of my life growing up. I mean, I remember Belly was my shit. I loved that movie. I loved him in Romeo Must Die and Cradle to the Grave and Never Die Alone. The man just had authentic, raw talent. He had that it factor. He was blessed. I mean, he just had God-given raw talent. And nothing could take that away. And on top of it, the main thing I loved about him was his authenticity. He spoke truth to power into anybody that he needed to tell off. He did. He wasn't with the fake shit. He wasn't with this, I gotta play the game or go along to get along. That was never him. What you see is what you got. And if you didn't like it, fuck you. That was his attitude, and I love that about him. Because it inspires us, even in the times that we're living in, that we need to be our true, authentic selves. That we need to express who we truly are. And not let situations or individuals intimidate us to go into a shell or to be afraid to show who we are, because we are all stars. And that's one thing that he was sharing with us, that we're all stars. We have a right to be here, and we have a place in this world. I will truly, truly miss DMX, because DMX, I didn't see him for, his problems. I saw him for the man he was. I mean, even when he was on couples therapy with Tashira, and they were going through their situation with their marriage, and how the way he was interacting with people, everybody loved him. Even the gay couple from the A-list New York that was a part of it, they loved him too. Like, because he even joked like, "Hey, I got a gay uncle. It's all good." He didn't have hatred in his body at all. I mean, people will say that he had homophobic, lyrics and stuff like that. But then again, that's the language of the culture, which I think needs to be modified, of course. I mean, me being a black gay man myself. But I understood it, and when he was talking about his life and some of the trauma that he was dealing with, especially with the relationship with his mother, and he even looked to them and said, "No offense, but my mother told me that I was gonna be effed in the A by the time I was 14." I mean, that's how dismissive and mean she was to me. I mean, and it just showed that he did have respect for the gay community. He had respect for everybody. He wasn't homophobic. He accepted everyone. Because when you're truly authentic, you have to accept people for who they are. And DMX was that kind of person. So we should celebrate that we had a gem like DMX, and that his music and his legacy will live on forever. And I want to thank you, DMX, for inspiring me and for inspiring many others to be true, to be authentic, to live life to the fullest, and to keep the Most High first. So get down in those comments and let me know your thoughts about this. I would love to hear what you guys have to say, but I will definitely put it out there. You better be respectful, because I give respect, I demand it in return. So feel free to share what you think, and even if you disagree with me, feel free to do that, but respect me. And definitely respect the legacy of DMX, because he's definitely somebody that we should model after. Somebody that wasn't afraid to be who they are. So that's what I have, y'all. So until next time, everybody, take care and rest in peace to Earl Simmons, aka DMX.